instrument in the musical tradition. There would have been some pipers, some melodeon players, but the fiddle was way, way ahead of any other instrument. The type of fiddle that's played in southwest Donegal is the standard European developed violin, the same sort of instrument you'll see in an orchestra anywhere around the world. However, not everybody played with one of these, not everybody had one. The local people were very inventive, very good at improvising, and some people played on a thing called a box fiddle. You can see here it fulfills the functions. You can get it under your chin. You have a neck and a fingerboard so that you can finger it to play the tunes. You have bridge so you can play away at it. There's a very interesting photograph of an itinerant fiddle player called Miles Tinney. It's taken in Mount Charles in or around 1900. And you can see quite clearly from the photograph that it's a very, very basic box fiddle that he's playing. This is a tin fiddle. Now these tin fiddles were made largely by the McConnell, by the Doherty families, the families that were travelling tinsmiths and musicians. As craftsmen they were excellent. They could make one in a day. Lots of children learned on tin fiddles.
The Dohertys and the McConnells were not only incredible skilled craftsmen, but they were also incredibly brilliant musicians, and the nature of the work that they did required them to go from community to community, and as they brought their skills they also brought along their music. They were an incredible source of new tunes, new techniques. They were the breaking news, if you like, of their day.
When I first heard the fiddle music of South Donegal, I'd say it was through the likes of John Doherty. I got such pleasure out of just listening to solo music. Like, it didn't need accompaniment, it was totally complete, and it had a great depth and intelligence about it, and you knew it was coming from something deeper than the person you were looking at. You felt a connection with something of long ago. These tunes don't just emerge, they come from people, they come from older people. And then the old people die, and then you realise the old people have kept this music alive when it wasn't that trendy to know a tune. They weren't being praised for learning this music and keeping it alive. It was like learning a dialect, a language that they had to keep alive.
There was lilting, plenty lilting in this valley years and years ago, and I think it was very important to the fiddle tradition as well, because fiddle players here have a certain lilt to their music, and they got this from listening to these lilters. My grandmother was a great lilter. She had lots of unusual tunes, and she passed them on to my father, and that's the way indeed that I have some of these unusual tunes today. Further down the road in a place called Kinakillia, there was 4 or 5 ladies there that they all lilted, and they could lilt all night for a dance without doing the same tune twice. They had hundreds of tunes.
The music's purpose was for dancing, and in those days people used to just go visiting each other's houses. I don't actually know how many people they got into the houses, but I think they packed them in to an amazing degree.
In our part around here, it was all small little farmers. and the work was all done in the summertime, and we used to be dying waiting on the winter for to have good time. Everything was done, and everybody started then dancing in the houses and playing, and you'd go here and there to hear musicians and to learn more tunes. We used to go up now and again to John James Cunningham's in Mount Charles, the blacksmith. Cormac one, he had a car. We'd go without lights and come back without lights, because we went before nightfall and we came back when the night was gone in the morning.
When I was growing up now, the house dances had died out, but my mother always danced them, so I knew the dances before I knew the tunes. So the Highland was the big one.
There'd be 2 or 3 fiddle players playing, and there would be dancing, Highlands, mazurkas, polkas, barn dancers, lancers, quadrilles, tolkios, and various other dances that I'm not even heard of now. That was another thing about all these old players. They all had this swing and lilt. When I was growing up, I would have been playing a good bit for these dances, and you had to have this swing and lilt for the dancers. And without that, the tune is not much good for dancing, and indeed it's not much good for listening to either.
We used to go up to the Crows, a great valley of music, dancing and stories. That's at the bottom of the Blue Stack Mountains. And the dancers would come in, because all up there knew that we were going up, say. It was nearly all hobnail boots in the floor. And then about 11 o'clock, tea time. All would sit around and they would start smoking, and the woman in the house, there was a table that went up, hanging table, that would be taken down, and one leg on it. And then there would be eggs, or whatever the best thing in the house, and a big feed, and then away again after that, until about 6 in the morning. And then we would walk back, it would be about 8 miles over the hills again, and thought nothing of it. As your mind grew up, the tunes went into your mind. You never